Law of chemical equilibrium. Law of chemical equilibrium. And see here. Law of chemical equilibrium. What is this law of chemical equilibrium, which is also taken as law of mass action? Law of chemical equilibrium, also called as the law of mass action. So this law was given by the scientists Guilbert and Vauguin. So who proposed the concept? That is Guilbert and Vauguin. What is this law of mass action? Before entering into the statement, you should know about the active mass, my dear boys. So this is the word frequently used. What is this active mass? So active mass is nothing but that is the mass of reactant which is participated in. That is the mass of reactant which is participated in at the time of reaction from the reactant side. At the time of reaction, so how much mass of reactant involved in the reaction? So for example, so 10 grams reactant is taken, but at the time of reaction, either 1 or 2 grams are participated in the reaction. That 1 or 2 grams is taken as active mass of the reactant, not 10 grams. Entire mass may not involve in the chemical reaction. Active mass means, so that is the concentration of reactant participated in the chemical reaction at the time of reaction. At the time of reaction, which is called as active mass. So nothing but concentration. Nothing but concentration. See here. So what is this active mass? Concentration of reactant. So concentration of reactant participating at the time of reaction. Concentration of reactant participating at the time of reaction is called as active mass. So which is directly proportional to concentration of reactant, which is directly proportional to concentration of reactant. Boys, now onwards, the term concentration is replaced with bracketed terms. These brackets are nothing but concentrations. Bracket means concentration. So if it is A, bracket A means the concentration of A. Bracket A means the concentration of A. So brackets nothing but concentration. Yes. Okay. So therefore, so bracket directly proportional to concentration of reactant. So I am releasing that the proportionality. There is a constant A into concentration of reactant. So here is A is called as activity, activity of quotient, activity coefficient. Depends on nature of the reactant and sometimes, so depending on situation of the reactions and activity. So therefore, indirectly, active mass is nothing but concentration of reactant. If A is equal to 1, activity is equal to 1, so active mass is equal to concentration of reactant. Is equal to concentration of reactant. So generally we are taking active masses are nothing but concentration of reactant. Active mass is nothing but concentration of reactant. Okay. So now onwards, I am using active mass. So active masses are nothing but concentration of reactant. So this is active mass. Now I am giving the statement for law of mass action. What is this law of mass action? See here. Once again, see my dear boys, active mass is generally we consider concentration of substance and nothing but molarity there. Nothing but number of moles by volume in liter sense. So frequently used, if you want to calculate active mass, you should calculate molarity constant. So calculate what is the active mass of the reactant? Nothing but what is the molarity of the reaction of that particular reactant. So you should calculate molarity. So molarity is equal to number of moles by volume in liters. Now the statement for the law of mass action. Before going to take statements, I will explain an equation. See here, let n moles of A reacts with m moles of B, so gives production. Gives production. It is the general reaction. It is the general reaction. Now, let R be the rate of the reaction. Let R be the rate of reaction. So, according to law of mass action, so this rate of reaction is directly proportional to, so product means multiplication, active masses of the reactants. So product of the active mass of the reactants. Here reactants are A and B. Product means multiplication. Product of the active masses of the reactants. Active masses are nothing but concentrations. So these number of moles is in the form of power cell. Is in the form of power cell. Okay. So rate of reaction is directly proportional to product of active masses of the reactants and those quotients to the power cell, with the quotients to the power cell. So this is called as law of mass action. It is according to law of mass action. So what is law of mass action? Define law of mass action. So the rate of reaction is always directly proportional to product of the active mass of the reactant. So with those quotients as a power cell, with those quotients as powers, which is called as law of mass action. This was given by the scientists Guldberg and Waage. This was explained by Guldberg and Waage. Now the concept is applicable for a reversible reaction, because I am trying to find out for a reversible reaction, that too for a chemical equilibrium. So this is law of mass action. What is law of mass action? The rate of reaction is always directly proportional to product of the active masses of the reactant. A and B are the reactants, and those number of moles to the powers of those concentrations. And those number of moles to the powers of the concentrations. So now I am trying to give an expression for a reversible reaction. So there I apply this law of mass action, my dear boys. See here. Consider a reversible reaction. Consider a reversible reaction. What is that? A moles A plus B moles B is in reversible with C moles C and D moles D. All these are in gaseous stage. All these are in a gaseous state. This is a gaseous reversible reaction. Okay. Let RF is the rate of forward reaction and RB is the rate of backward reaction. So what is this RF? RF is nothing but rate of forward reaction. RB, B stands for backward end. So rate of backward reaction. Rate of backward reaction. So for a forward reaction, so A and B are the reactants for forward reaction. C and D are the reactants for backward reaction. Okay. Now apply law of mass action for both the reactions. So for forward reaction, according to law of mass action, so rate of forward reaction is directly proportional to product of the active mass of the reactants, here concentration of A whole power A into concentration of B whole power B. Concentration of B whole power B. So this is nothing but rate of reaction is according to there is the law of mass action. Now for backward reaction, so these are the reactants. This C and D converts into A and B and E. Now reactants are C and D. So therefore, rate of backward reaction is directly proportional to concentration of C whole power C into concentration of D whole power D and E. Concentration of D whole power D. So now, I'm removing that proportionality by using a constant. Rate of forward reaction is equal to some constant Kf. Kf is nothing but rate constant for forward reaction into A power A into B power B. So here also, rate of backward reaction is equal to some constant Kb into concentration of C whole power C into concentration of D whole power D. Okay, here Kf is equal to rate constant of forward reaction, Kb is equal to rate constant of backward reaction. So this is now at equilibrium. Equilibrium means their rate of forward reaction is equal to rate of backward reaction. At equilibrium, rate of forward reaction is equal to rate of backward reaction. I'm going to clean this one. See here. So that means, so LHS are equal, automatically RHS are equivalent. Therefore, Kf into concentration of A whole power A into concentration of B whole power B is equal to Kb into concentration of C whole power C into concentration of D whole power D. It is from this equation, because at equilibrium, what is the equilibrium statement? So there is in a reversible reaction where the rate of forward reaction is equal to rate of backward reaction. That statement is, that particular state is called as equilibrium stated. So that is why at equilibrium rate of forward reaction must be equal to rate of backward reaction. So this is Kb by boys. Now bring constants aside. So Kf by Kb, these two are constants, is equal to concentration of C whole power C into concentration of D whole power D by concentration of A whole power A into concentration of B whole power B. Okay, so it is constant for forward reaction, it is the rate constant for backward reaction. So constant by constant, that gives a new constant. That new constant is I'm taking as Kc. That new constant we consider as Kc. What is this Kc? Kc is nothing but equilibrium constant. In terms of, see here, these brackets are nothing but concentrations. So in terms of concentrations, so Kc is nothing but equilibrium constant in terms of concentrations, because this constant is expressed in terms of concentrations of those reactants and products. Only we use the concentration terms. So therefore, Kc is equal to Kf by Kb. So what is Kc? It is equilibrium constant. How to define this equilibrium constant? Equilibrium constant is defined as the ratio of rate constants of forward reaction to the rate constant of backward reaction. The ratio of rate constants to the forward reaction to the rate constant to the backward reaction, the ratio is called as equilibrium constant. So it is one formula. It is one formula, my dear boys. Next, this is the second formula. So if rate constant for forward and backward reactions are given to you, it is easy to calculate equilibrium constant. So equilibrium constant Kc is equal to Kf by Kb. Kf by Kb. What is Kf and Kb? Kf is nothing but rate constant for forward reaction. Kb is nothing but rate constant for backward reaction. So therefore, So what is equilibrium constant? Define equilibrium constant. So equilibrium constant is the ratio of rate constants of forward reaction to the backward reaction. Rate constants to the forward reaction to the backward reaction, or it is the ratio of concentrations of the products to the products of the concentrations to the concentrations of the products to the products of the concentrations to of the reactants. Product of the concentrations of the reactants. So which is also called as equilibrium constant. Here Kc is nothing but equilibrium constant in terms of concentrations. Equilibrium constant in terms of concentrations. Okay. So now what are the units of this Kc? What are the units of Kc? Units of Kc. So see here, Kc is nothing but C boys. It is concentration of C, concentration to the power C, concentration to the power D by concentration to the power A, concentration to the power Bn, which is equal to concentration to the power C plus D by concentration to the power A plus Bn. Concentration to the power A plus B. Therefore, Kc is equal to concentration to the power C plus D minus A plus Bn. Concentration to the power C plus D minus A plus B. So that is delta N. I am taking the delta N is nothing but so Np minus Nr, just like we know. So number of gaseous moles of products minus total number of gaseous moles of reactants, which is nothing but concentration of C plus D, that is by A plus B N. So this is the delta N. It is applicable for only for gaseous elements. So delta N for gaseous elements. Therefore, Kc is equal to concentration to the power delta N. What is this delta N? Delta N is nothing but it is the difference of total number of gaseous moles of products minus total number of gaseous moles of reactants. Total number of gaseous moles of products minus total number of gaseous moles of reactants. So that is the delta N. So concentration is nothing but so molarity, it is nothing but molarity. Therefore, molarity units are mole per liter whole power delta N. Mole per liter whole power delta N. It is the unit for concentrations, Kc. So it is the unit for Kcn. It is the unit for Kcn. It is very, very important. And so whose concentration? Nothing but C means the concentration of C. That is what is that reaction? A moles A plus B moles B reversible with C moles C plus D moles Dn. D moles D. So here C is the concentration of C, D is the concentration of D and D. So reactants and products. So these are the reactants, these are the products. These are the reactants, these are the products. Okay. So this is the way to calculate Kcn, equilibrium constant in terms of concentration of reactants and products. So this is the way to express equilibrium constant. That means law of mass action is useful to calculate equilibrium constant. For every equilibrium, there is an equilibrium constant. That equilibrium constant is measured in terms of concentration. In terms of concentration. So this is the way to calculate it. See boys, C and D, nothing but products. Products concentration by reactant concentration. Products concentration by reactant concentration. So Dinesh, please down your hand. Right now it is not possible to explain. Down your hand. Okay. If all reactants and products are gases, so whenever a gaseous equilibrium is considered, for gases, there is partial pressure. So not only concentrations, partial pressures are also exist. That means equilibrium constant may also express in terms of partial pressures. So that is another way to express partial pressures. So therefore, equilibrium constant in terms of partial pressures is See here, A moles A plus B moles B reversible with C moles C plus D moles Dn. All these are gases. If gases are there, so for this case, Kc is equal to, so product concentration of C whole power C into concentration of D whole power D by concentration of A whole power A into concentration of B whole power Bn. It is Kca. So products minus products by reactants. Products by reactants. Already I derived the concept. So equilibrium constant in terms of partial pressures is represented as Kp. Equilibrium constant in terms of partial pressures is represented as Kp. So here concentration term is replaced with partial pressures. Here concentration term is replaced with partial pressures. So now which is equal to partial pressure of C. Pc is nothing but partial pressure of C. So partial pressure of C whole power C into partial pressure of D whole power D by partial pressure of A whole power A into partial pressure of B whole power Bn. It is the equilibrium constant in terms of partial pressure. Here Kp is nothing but equilibrium constant in terms of partial pressure. For gases, partial pressures are there. Yes, derivation is also important. So for gases, partial pressures are there. So that's why equilibrium constant is also represented in terms of partial pressures. So brackets are replaced with PA. Brackets are replaced with PNE. So that is partial pressure of C into partial pressure of D by partial pressure of A into partial pressure of Bn. So similarly, equilibrium constant is also expressed in terms of mole fraction. How is that? So now mole fraction is nothing but Xn. X is the mole fraction. So it is K is nothing but equilibrium constant. Equilibrium constant in terms of mole fractions is equal to mole fraction of C into whole power C. That is mole fraction of D power whole power D. So mole fraction of A power A into mole fraction of B power Bn. So it is the way to represent equilibrium constant in terms of, so this Kx is nothing but equilibrium constant in terms of mole fractions. In terms of mole fractions. What are these? Xc, Xd, Xa, Xb. These are nothing but mole fractions of that particular chemical end. That particular element end. So Xc, mole fraction of C, mole fraction of D by mole fraction of A into mole fraction of Bn. So this is in terms of mole fractions. This is in terms of partial pressures. This is in terms of concentrations. These are the three ways to express equilibrium constant. It is equilibrium constant in terms of concentration terms. So it is equilibrium constant in terms of partial pressures. It is equilibrium constant in terms of mole fractions. So this is the for this equation, for this reversible equation which is in equilibrium. So these are the three ways to express the equilibrium constants. So to express the equilibrium constants. Now, what are the units of this Kp, Kc, and Kx? See here. Already I derived units for this one. So Kc units are nothing but mole per liter whole power delta n. Mole per liter whole power delta n. Okay. So now, what are the units of Kp? Kp, this is partial pressure, my dear boys. Partial pressure nothing but pressure. Pressure has units, atmospheres, bars, like that. So I am considering atmosphere. So that's why atmosphere power C, atmosphere power D by atmosphere power A, atmosphere power B. So therefore, its unit is Kc, Kp unit is atmosphere power, once again delta n or bar power delta n. So these are the units of Kp. These are the units of Kp. Atmosphere power delta n or bar power delta n or bar power delta n. Okay. So mole fraction has no units, that's why it has no units. Mole fraction has no unit, so therefore Kx also has no unit. So these are the units, Kc unit, Kp units, Kp unit, Kc unit. Now we are applying. What is the relation between Kp, Kc, and Kx? So now our topic is relation between Kp, Kc, and Kx. So all the three types of equilibrium are there. So what are the interrelation between all these three? So what are the interrelation between all these three? Faizan, please down your hands. Right now it is not possible. Now, Kp, we know Kp for this one is partial square of C whole power C into partial square of D whole power D by partial square of A whole power A into partial square of B whole power B. So this is Kp. Now I convert this Kp value in terms of Kc value. See here. So what are these Pc, Pd like this? These are nothing but partial square sets. We know for an ideal gas, PV is equal to nRT. For an ideal gas, PV is equal to nRT. So from this, I'm going to calculate pressure. Therefore, pressure P is equal to N by V into RT. N by V into RT. So N by V is nothing but number of moles by volume in liters, nothing but concentration of molarity. So therefore, P is equal to molarity into RT. P is equal to molarity into RT. So now that molarity I am representing, so nothing but it is a concentration term, my dear boys. So that's why I am representing brackets. So it is nothing but concentration. So therefore, partial square of C is equal to bracket C into RT. Partial square of D is equal to bracket D into RT. Partial square of A is equal to bracket A, nothing but concentration of A into RT. Partial square of B is equal to concentration of C into RT, like this. So here P is equal to concentration into RT. Concentration into RT, that is I am representing like this thing. So partial square. Now substitute these values here. So substitute all these values here end. So that implies Kp is equal to partial square of C whole power C, nothing but concentration of C whole power C into RT power C into partial square of D, nothing but concentration of D whole power D into RT power D by bracket A, that is partial square of A, concentration of A whole power A into RT power A, concentration of B whole power B into RT power B. Now, so here RT. So that is equal to concentration of C whole power C into concentration of D whole power D by concentration of A whole power A into concentration of B whole power B into RT power. So it is C plus D minus B plus A plus B. C plus D minus A plus B. So this C plus D minus A plus B is nothing but delta N, my dear boys. Therefore, so here bracket C, concentration of C whole power C into concentration of D whole power D, AB, this is nothing but Kc, which is RT power delta N, which is equal to Kp. It is the relation between Kp and Kc. So now what is the relation between Kp and Kc? Kp is equal to Kc into RT power delta N. Kp is equal to Kc into RT power delta N. So it is very, very important, my dear boys. So it is the relation between Kp and Kcn. It is the relation between Kp and Kc. So see here, I am taking partial figures. So those partial figures are replaced here. So we will get this answer. Therefore, finally we got Kp is equal to Kc into RT power delta N. What is this delta N? Delta N is nothing but total number of gaseous moles of products minus total number of gaseous moles of reactants. Total number of gaseous moles of products minus total number of gaseous moles of reactants. So finally, we got the relation between Kp and Kc. Very, very, very important point. Kp is equal to Kc into RT power delta N. Kp is equal to Kc into RT power delta N. It is very, very important. Okay. Now, what is the relation between Kp and Kx? What is the relation between Kp and Kx? And see here. So, okay. So we have a relation that is Kp is equal to Kc into RT power delta N. It is the first relation. Kp is equal to Kc into RT power delta N. Now I am giving relation between Kp and Kx. Kx is nothing but mole fraction. So equal being constant in terms of mole fraction. We know mole fraction is equal to, oh sorry, just a minute. We know partial pressure is equal to mole fraction into total pressure. So partial pressure is equal to mole fraction into total pressure. It is a relation, my dear boys. So I am representing with symbols. Partial pressure P is equal to mole fraction into capital P is nothing but total pressure. So P is equal to X into P. P is small p is nothing but partial pressure. Capital P is nothing but total pressure. Total pressure. See here. I am taking Kp, that is partial pressure of C. Partial pressure of C is equal to mole fraction of C into total pressure. Partial pressure of D is equal to mole fraction of D into total pressure. Partial pressure of A is equal to mole fraction of A into total pressure. So similarly, partial pressure of B is equal to mole fraction of B into total pressure. So substitute all these values here. Therefore, Kp is equal to partial pressure of C means, this means, so Xc whole power C into Pc, P capital Pn, into Xd whole power D into partial pressure of D by Xa whole power of A into partial pressure, that is the total pressure of A, total pressure. Next, Xb whole power of B into partial pressure of Bn. So it is, now I am readjusting the formula once again, that is equal to Xc whole power C, Xd whole power D by Xa whole power A, Xb whole power B into partial pressure or total pressure, that P is the total pressure. So C plus D minus A plus B. Therefore, so it is nothing but, so equal being constant in terms of mole fraction into P is the total pressure whole power delta N. This is the Kp. This is Kp. So Kp is equal to equal being constant in terms of partial pressure. So Kp is equal to equal being constant in terms of mole fractions into total pressure whole power delta N. Total pressure whole power delta N. So here it is second relation. So these are the two relations that gives the interrelation between Kp, Kc and Kx. Kp, Kc and Kx. So these are very, very important, my dear boys. So very, very important. So see here, we have partial pressure is equal to mole fraction into total pressure. It is the actual formula. Partial pressure P is equal to mole fraction into total pressure. So applying this one to all conditions, finally we have these two relations. These two relations. So now, Frequently, we are using only this formula. Rarely, this formula is used. What are the different cases here? See here. We have the relation Kp is equal to Kc into RT power delta n. Okay. Now, case 1, if delta n is equal to 0, delta n is equal to 0, now Kp is equal to Kc. So because this is 0, something power 0, 1 any, therefore Kp is equal to Kc. Next, case 2, if delta n greater than 0, that is nothing but positive any. Delta n greater than 0, which is nothing but positive any. So see here, let us take 1. RT power 1, that means Kp is equal to Kc into something RT. So that means Kc multiplied with something that gives Kp means, so Kp greater than Kc. Kp greater than Kc. Now, so case 3, number of times asked, my dear boys, if delta n less than 0 or negative, so Kp less than Kc. Kp less than Kc. Okay, so these are the relations, my dear boys. So frequently used relation is this one. So that is Kp is equal to Kc into RT power delta n. So case 1, case 2, case 3, delta n is equal to 0, Kp is equal to Kc. So delta n less than 1, less than 0, greater than 0, less than 0, Kp less than Kc, greater than 0, Kp greater than Kc. So now, how to identify, sir? Is this Kp greater than K less, greater than or less than? How to identify? So with examples, I am trying to explain to you. See here. Let us take an example. So for that example, I am trying to write both Kc, Kp and relation between Kp and Kcn. See here, example 1, N2 gas plus 3H2 gas reversible with 2 NaH3 gas N. N2 gas plus 3H2 gas reversible with 2 NaH3 gas. Now, write Kc for this equation. Kc is equal to product, that is NaH3, concentration of NaH3 whole square, so to the power, by concentration of N2, it is 1 to the power 1, and concentration of H2 to the power 3. So product concentration product by reactants concentration product, that is Kcn. Now, what is Kp? Kp is nothing but, so replace this bracket with partial pressure Pn. Therefore, partial pressure of NaH3 whole square by partial pressure of N2 into partial pressure of H2 whole cube. That is, the concentration is replaced with partial pressure. Now, what is Kx, sir? Kx is nothing but mole fraction of NaH3 whole square by mole fraction of N2 into mole fraction of H2 whole cube. Mole fraction of H2 whole cube. So this is the way to identify. So Kc, Kp, Kx. So but frequently we are using only Kp and Kc, negligibly that one is used. Now I want to give what is the relation between Kp and Kc. What is the relation between Kp and Kc? So see here, my dear boys, this is gas, we consider this one. This is gas, we consider this one. This is gas, we consider this one. Now I am trying to calculate delta n. So only we apply gaseous n. So total number of gaseous moles of products, that is 2 minus total number of gaseous moles of reactants. This one gas, this one also gas. Therefore, which is 3 plus 1, which is equal to 2 minus 4, which is equal to minus 2, less than 0. Here delta n is equal to minus 2, less than 0. Therefore, in this case, Kp less than Kcn. In this case, Kp less than Kc. It is a way to identify, is this Kc greater than 0, Kp less than 0. So like this. Okay, I am explaining with one more example. So here, delta Kp less than Kc. See here. H2 gas plus I2 gas reversible with 2HI gas. H2 gas plus I2 gas reversible with 2HI gas. Now tell me guys, how much is delta N? Delta N this for this process is, so this is gas, this is gas, this is gas. So this is product, these are reactants. So 2 minus 1 plus 1, which is equal to 0. Here delta N is equal to 0. Therefore, Kp is equal to Kc for this reaction. For this reaction, Kp is equal to Kc. So now Kp and Kc, what is the relation? Kc is equal to concentration of Hi whole power 2 by concentration of H2 into concentration of I2 and power 1. Now, what is Kp? That is replace that bracket with partial pi and P of Hi whole square by P of H2 into P of I2. So it is a Kp relation. It is a Kc relation. So here delta N is equal to 0. Therefore, Kp is equal to Kc. Kp is equal to Kc. Now I am trying to give one more example. It is example 2. Now example 3. That is PCl5 gas reversible with PCl3 gas plus Cl2 gas. Okay. Now here delta N is equal to how much? So it is 1 mole, it is 1 mole. All these are gases, boys. 1 plus 1, 2. Minus, it is also gas, 1 ra. That is 1 N. So greater than 0 ra. In this case, Kp greater than Kc. In this case, Kp greater than Kc ra. Now write down the Kp, Kc values. Kc is equal to concentration of PCl3, products value first. Concentration of Cl2 by concentration of PCl5. That is Kp is equal to partial pressure of PCl3 into partial pressure of Cl2 by partial pressure of PCl5 and partial pressure of PCl5. These are Kp and Kc values. So now what is the relation between Kp and Kc? In this case, delta N is equal to 1, which is greater than 0. Therefore, Kp greater than Kcn. In this case, Kp is equal to Kcn. So previous case, Kp less than Kcn. So here all gaseous reactants and gaseous products are considered. All these are homogeneous. In case of heterogeneous, so that means, so liquids and solids are there. So how to write Kp, Kc values and how to identify the relation between Kp and Kc? See here. I am taking for heterogeneous equilibrium. Very, very important, boys. Listen carefully. For heterogeneous equilibrium, I am considering an heterogeneous equilibrium, that is CaCO3 solid reversible with CaO solid plus CO2 gas. CaCO3 solid plus CaO solid reversible with CaO solid plus CO2 gas. Okay. So see here. So all these are at constant volume, that is fixed volume, closed volume. See here. For this, delta N is equal to how much? Delta N we consider only for gases. So it is not solid, not considered. It is solid, not considered. This is gas, we consider. So therefore, this is 1 minus, there is no reactance, gaseous reactance 0 and it is 1 greater than 0. For this case, Kp greater than Kc. It is not 2 minus 1, boys. So it is solid, not considered. It is solid, not considered. It is gas, only that one is considered. 1 minus 1 mole of that product minus no gaseous reactants. That means 1 minus 0, which is equal to 1, which is greater than 0. In this case, Kp greater than Kcn. So it is for heterogeneous. Already I completed homogeneous, Siddharth. See here. Now, What is Kp and Kc for this equation? Therefore, I am trying Kc is equal to concentration of CaO into concentration of CO2 by concentration of CaCO3. Concentration of CaCO3. So, and also Kp is equal to partial pressure of CaO into partial pressure of CO2 by partial pressure of CaCO3. Partial pressure of CaCO3. See boys, it is very, very important. Concentration of CaO, it is a solid, it is a gas, it is a solid. For solids, concentrations are taken as unity. Why? I will explain. Please wait. For solids, concentrations is equal to 1 N. For liquids, concentration is also taken as 1 N. So please try to mind this. Concentration of solids is equal to 1. Concentration of liquids also equal to 1. Partial pressure of solids. Solids have no partial pressure, which is also taken as 1 N. Partial pressure of solids is equal to 1. Partial pressure of liquids, which is also equal to 1 N. So therefore, Kc is equal to. So it is 1 N. Therefore, we have only concentration of CO2. It is correct, my dear boys. It is wrong. Next, in this case, Kp is equal to, it is solid. These values are taken as unit. That gives partial pressure of CO2. It is correct. For solids and liquids, concentrations and partial pressure are taken as unity, not changed. Why, sir? Why these liquids and solids are considered as unity? Okay, I will explain. See here. So, boys, did you understand the concept? Did you understand the concept? Okay, boys. Next. Why concentration of solids is taken as unity? This is my question. Why concentration of solid is taken as unity? See, my dear boys, concentration of solid, I am taking concentration of CaO. It is solid. Let's so to consider. So this is a solid concentration. So concentration is nothing but molarity, my dear boys. So see here, which is equal to molarity, that is number of moles of solids by volume of solid energy. Number of moles of solid by volume of solid energy. Okay. Next, which is equal to number of moles, weight of solid by gram molecular weight of solids by volume of solid energy. Number of moles is nothing but weight by gram molecular weight. See here, weight by mass per volume energy. It is nothing but weight of solids by volume of solids into 1 by gram molecular weight of solid. Mass per volume energy, which is nothing but density, which is equal to density of solid by gram molecular weight. Density of solid by gram molecular weight. So density is nothing but mass per gram per liter. So gram per liter value is always constant. Gram molecular weight is in grams. Therefore, so density is always constant. Gram molecular weight is always constant. So therefore, constant by constant is always constant. Therefore, concentration of CaO is nothing but solid is taken as a constant. Concentration of a solid. So I am taking solid. Concentration of solid is nothing but number of moles by volume, nothing but molarity. So therefore, finally, concentration of any solid is taken as constant. Concentration of any solid is taken as constant. That is why. So that solid concentration we are taking as 1 end. Similarly, for liquid concentration is also taken as 1 end, because here concentration solid end in this place. So concentration of liquid is equal to, so density of liquid by gram molecular weight of liquid end. So this one and this one both are constant. That is why, so liquid concentration is also taken as 1 end. Liquid concentration is also taken as 1. It is very, very important, and it is equal to 1 end. Okay, so solids and liquids concentrations are taken as 1. That is arbitrarily taken, my dear boys. That is followed by, that was given by the scientists. They consider that value as 1 end. Its value is not constant. So density, see here, density, gram per molecular weight. So the density, these two values are constant values generally. So those values are considered as 1 end. Those values are considered as 1. So it is very, very important end. Okay, so this is the way why solids or liquid concentrations are as unity. Nothing but like this end. Like nothing but it is applicable for all solids and liquids. It is applicable for all solids and liquids, but not for aqueous conditions. But not for aqueous solutions. If HQ term is used, so those are not considered as 1 end. Not considered as 1 end. Okay, so this is equilibrium constant, and units of equilibrium constant. Now relation between equilibrium constants, Kp, Kc, Kp less than Kc, Kp greater than Kc, Kc is equal to Kc, Kp is equal to Kc. So these are the different relations, my dear boys. Now, so up to now we completed Kp, Kc, Kx. Now interrelation between them. Now how to write Kp, Kc, K values for different equations. Okay. Now what are the characteristics of this equilibrium constant? So these are important, my dear boys. Equilibrium constant of a particular reaction is always constant. Listen carefully. Equilibrium constant of a particular reaction is always constant at a particular temperature. So equilibrium constant is constant at constant temperature. Equilibrium constant depends on temperature. Equilibrium constant depends on temperature. Okay, so see here. Equilibrium constant is nothing but products concentration by reactants concentration. Equilibrium constant is nothing but product concentration by reactants concentration. So equilibrium constant is high means product value is high, reactants value is low. Equilibrium constant high means product value is high, reactant is low. Okay, at constant temperature, product concentration and reactant concentrations are constant. Therefore, equilibrium constant is constant. Okay, if the reaction, so let us take a reaction, reactants reversible with P and E products. So if it is endothermic reaction, listen boys, I am not ready to repeat the concept, and a lot of time is required for me to explain the remaining concepts. Reversible reaction, that is reactants converts into products. If it is an endothermic reaction, that means for the course of this reaction, it requires energy. Now I am increasing temperature. That means energy is supplied. Energy is supplied means, so supplied reaction, that is endothermic reaction. Because it is endothermic reaction, forward reaction takes place. That means the product concentration increases, reactant concentration decreases, therefore numerator value increases, denominator value decreases, therefore equilibrium constant increases. Therefore, for endothermic reactions, so as the temperature increases, equilibrium constant, either Kc or Kp also increases. Equilibrium constant depends only on temperature, not depending on initial concentration, something else, whatever it may be. Equilibrium constant depends only on temperature. And for endothermic reactions, as temperature increases, equilibrium constant increases. For exothermic reactions, exothermic means heat release process. So itself it is released during this process. So as temperature increases, backward reaction takes place. As temperature increases, backward reaction takes place. That means product concentration increases, reactants concentration increases automatically. So as the temperature increases, equilibrium constant decreases. So this is the important variation. So equilibrium constant depends only on temperature. So if this increases or decreases, that is depending on the nature of the reaction. That is nothing but either it is exothermic reaction or endothermic reaction. In case of endothermic reaction, as temperature increases, equilibrium constant increases. So for exothermic reaction, as temperature increases, equilibrium constant decreases. So this is the only way. It is the only condition. So that depends on, that is the equilibrium constant depends on. So these are the factors, and only temperature dependent. And equilibrium constant depends only on temperature. Depends only on temperature. For endothermic reactions, as temperature increases, equilibrium constant increases. For exothermic reactions, as temperature increases, equilibrium constant decreases. Please try to mind, my dear boys, it is number of times asked to be tested. So it is number of times. For endothermic reactions, as temperature increases, equilibrium constant increases. For exothermic reactions, as temperature increases, equilibrium constant decreases. Equilibrium constant decreases. Okay, next. Equilibrium constant depends on mode of writing of equation. Equilibrium constant depends on mode of writing of equation. See here. These are the characteristics of equilibrium. And equilibrium constant depends only on temperature and also not concentration, not pressure, etc. But it depends on mode of writing of equation. For example, I am writing A reversible with B. For this, let us take equilibrium constant K or K1. Let us take this one as K1 or K. It is better to go with K. This is equilibrium constant, but this one. So K is nothing but concentration of B by concentration of A. Next, I will reverse this equation. B reversible with A. Now it is taken as K1. So for this, concentration of A by concentration of B, nothing but 1 by concentration of B by concentration of A. Nothing but 1 by K1 1 by K, because this value is nothing but K. This value is nothing but A. Therefore, if equation is reversed, exactly reversed, therefore, so in first case K, in second case, that is K1, K1 is equal to 1 by K. K1 is equal to 1 by K. That means equilibrium constant depends on mode of writing of equation. Next, for this, N moles A reversible with N moles B. So for this, so let us take K2. So that is B power N by A power N. That is nothing but B by A whole power N, nothing but K power N. Therefore, K2 is equal to K power N. That is N times increase rate. So power N, this quotient is going to be power N. Quotient is going to be power. It is very, very important. So for this K1, K. For this K1, K1 is equal to 1 by K. For this K2, K2 is equal to K1 power N. N times. That is, if you multiply the equation with 2 times, so K into K power N, it is going to be powered N. Okay, next. If two equilibrium are merged, see here. For example, A reversible with B, it is K1 N. C reversible with D, it is K2. Now add these two equations again. So now A plus B C reversible with B plus D. Now what about equilibrium constant? It is K1, it is K2. K1 means B by A. K2 means D by C. Nothing but concentrations, my dear boys. Okay, for this let us take K. K is equal to B into D by A into C. Nothing but B by A, nothing but K1. D by C is nothing but K2. That is K1 into K2. K1 into, that means if two equilibria are added, equations are added, those quotients, those constants are going to be multiplied. Therefore, for this, I am taking equilibrium constant K, which is equal to K1 into K2. So number, it is very, very important, boys. So equation is taken. If it is reversed, 1 by n. So if that equation is multiplied with n times power n, if two equilibria are merged, are added, so that means those two equilibrium constants are multiplied in K1 into K2. K1 into K2. So these are the conditions and these are the characteristics of equilibrium. Equilibrium constant. These are the characteristics of equilibrium constant. See, my dear boys, if an equilibrium reaction, like this, see here, A reversible with B and E. So for this K, 1 by 2A reversible with 1 by 2 B and E. For this K, it is K1, it is K2. Now what about K2? Tell me what it was. So for this, so n is equal to 1 by 2. Therefore, it is K1 whole power n. That means K1 whole power 1 by 2. Therefore, K2 is equal to K1 power 1 by 2. K2 is equal to K1 power 1 by 2. It is the way to express. Next, see here. N2 gas plus 3H2 gas reversible with 2 NH3 gas. For this equilibrium constant is K1. Next, that is 1 by 2 N2 gas plus 3 by 2 H2 gas reversible with NH3 gas. Now it is the K2. Now what is the relation between K1 and K2? Now what is the relation between K1 and K2? So that means it is multiplied with 1 by 2. Multiplied with 1 by 2 means K1 power 1 by 2, which is equal to K1 power 1 by 2. Therefore, K2 is equal to K1 power 1 by 2. Yes, my dear boys. Okay, so this is the way to identify it. Next, if equilibrium reaction contains both gases and aqueous solutions, so partial pressures and concentrations both are included in. See here, for example, zinc solid reacts with 2H plus aqueous solution reversible with Gelen plus 2 aqueous plus H2 gas See, my dear boys, it is solid, it is aqueous, it is gas. Aqueous solutions, gases are there. I am writing KC. See here, regularly we are using Kc is equal to product concentration. Concentration of Gelen plus 2, it is aqueous, not equal to 1. So because it is gas, for gases we consider partial pressures. That is why partial pressure of H2 by zinc solid, its value, its concentration is taken as 1 gram. Next, by H plus aqueous solution whole power 2 2 times that. So this is Kc, my dear boys. So that is not only Kc, it is just considered as K and equilibrium constant. So in this equilibrium, concentration terms, partial pressures both are included. So because the equation contains both gases and aqueous conditions, why that is gases and concentration both are there. That is why equilibrium constant. It is a characteristic of equilibrium constant. So those partial pressures and concentrations both are included in that equilibrium constant. Therefore, so this is our equilibrium constant in terms of, it is one of the most important conditions. Number of problems are solved with the help of this concept. Any gas, that P is nothing but partial pressure of that gas. So these are the some characteristics of equilibrium constant. These are some characteristics of equilibrium constant. Okay. Now, what are the applications of equilibrium constant? Kusmaka, please wait. Applications of equilibrium constant. Applications of equilibrium constant. So it is very, very important, my dear boys. Kusmaka, please down and at last will out. Applications of equilibrium constant. What are these applications? So equilibrium constant, it is useful to calculate equilibrium concentrations of substances and equilibrium concentrations of the real substances. So initial concentrations may give, so at equilibrium, how much is the concentration? So equilibrium concentration. So during problems, I will clarify this concept. So equilibrium constant is useful to calculate the concentrations of those reactants are present at the time of equilibrium. Okay, so it is important. So during calculations, I will explain the concept once again. So it is one of the most important applications of our equilibrium constant. Second and most important, it is used to predict. It is used to predict the direction of reaction. It is used to predict the direction of reaction. That means, is the reaction going to be forward direction or backward direction? Predict means assumption. So prediction. Okay. So is that reaction going to be forward direction or backward direction or still going on? How much is the completeness of the reaction? So all those we are going to be predict with the help of this equilibrium constant. See, my dear boys, see here. So let us take a reversible reaction, not an equilibrium. Listen carefully, it is important. Let us consider a reversible reaction. So in general, our general equation, that is A moles A plus B moles B reversible with C moles C plus D moles D. No doubt all these are gases, my dear boys. So it is, all these are gases. See, my dear boys, this is a reversible equation, reaction, not at equilibrium. Please be mind the condition. It is the reversible reaction, not at equilibrium. For this reversible reaction, I am going to calculate a constant. Is that constant is equal to equilibrium constant? Tell me. I am going to write a constant. A constant. So I don't give notes that one. A constant value is equal to concentration of C whole power C into concentration of D whole power D by concentration of A into whole power A, concentration of B into whole power B. So by this C, D, A, B, these concentrations are not at equilibrium. These concentrations are not at equilibrium because the reaction is not at equilibrium. That means rate of forward reaction is not equal to rate of backward reaction. Now, is this constant is equal to equilibrium constant or not? Tell me. Yes, Bashwan, yes, correct. Okay, so now this constant is called as, which is called as not considered as equilibrium constant. That type of concentration, that means these are not at equilibrium. So these concentrations at other conditions other than equilibrium conditions. So those concentrations, that constant is called as reaction quotient, which is the constant is called as reaction quotient, my dear boys. Reaction quotient is nothing but it is similar to equilibrium constant, but those concentrations are not at equilibrium. If those are at equilibrium, that constant is called as equilibrium constant. If those are not at equilibrium, that constant is called as reaction quotient, which is indicated with the letter either Q or QC or QP. So Q, QC, QP, these are the terms generally used for reaction quotient. What is this reaction quotient? Reaction quotient is nothing but just similar to equilibrium quotient, equilibrium constant. So it is just similar to equilibrium constant, but those concentrations of reactants and products not at equilibrium, at other than equilibrium. If those are at equilibrium concentrations, those are concentrations are equilibrium, at equilibrium, that reaction quotient is equal to equilibrium constant. That means for a reversible reaction, generally we have reaction quotient. If the reversible reaction is at equilibrium, that reaction quotient is called as equilibrium constant. So therefore, for a reversible reaction, we have both QC and KC. QC is reversible reaction constant. KC is equilibrium constant. KC is equilibrium constant. So by using this QC and KC, by using QC and KC, we can predict the direction of the reaction. We can predict the direction of the reaction. See my dear boys, how sir? So if QC greater than KC, maybe. If QC is equal to KC, maybe. If QC less than KC, these are the three cases. Sometimes QC may be greater than KC. So, and I compare this QC and KC. So, see my dear boys, QC greater than KC. Listen carefully. QC means no doubt products by reactants. That means other concentration, at other concentration, product concentration is more than that of equilibrium products. Equilibrium products. That means at other than equilibrium, those concentrations of products means, so that means products are very, very high. That means that crosses equilibrium condition. That means products are very, very high. Those products are participating in the reaction. So automatically backward reaction takes place because those products are involved in the reaction. Therefore, if QC greater than KC, now backward reaction takes place. Backward reaction takes place. Reverse reaction takes place. If QC greater than KC. If QC is equal to KC, nothing but ordinary concentrations is equal to equilibrium concentrations, automatically the reaction is at equilibrium. The reaction is at equilibrium. Next, if QC less than KC, that means equilibrium concentrations are more than that of original concentrations. That means concentrations are very high and product concentrations are very, very low. Equilibrium concentrations are high. That means QC less than KC, forward reaction takes place. Forward reaction takes place. See here, I am drawing. It is QC boys, it is KC. In this case, QC less than KC. In this case, it is QC, it is KC. Here, QC is equal to KC. Next, in this case, it is QC and it is KC. So here, QC greater than KC. If QC greater than KC, backward reaction takes place towards equilibrium. If QC less than KC, forward reaction takes place. As QC is equal to KC, the reaction is at equilibrium. That means It is the way to predict the nature of the reaction. So the direction of the reaction. If QC greater than Kc, backward reaction. If QC less than Kc, backward reaction. If QC is equal to Kc, the reaction is at equilibrium. So this is the way to predict the direction of the reaction. In which direction the reaction is going to be proceed. So this is the way. Okay. Next one. Okay, guys, next one. This equilibrium constant is useful to find out the completeness and incompleteness of the reaction. That means, see here. So it is used to predict the extent of the reaction. How much extent of the reaction. So reaction by magnitude. How much extent the reaction is going to be completed. So very, very important. Boys, see here once again, there is reactant which is irreversible with product side. Reversible with product side. For this equilibrium, for this reaction, equilibrium constant K is equal to product concentration by reactant concentration. Product concentration by reactant concentration. See boys, this equilibrium constant may varies depending on the concentration. So that is at a particular temperature, depending on temperatures. So see here. So it is very, very important. In this direction, equilibrium constant increases. So this is a Kc value. So this is Kc value. So that Kc value, sometimes it is equal to 10 power 3. It is equal to 10 power 3 and which is equal to 10 power minus 3 MeV. That means Kc value, equilibrium constant value, sometimes 10 power minus 3 and 10 power, sometimes 10 power 3 MeV. If Kc value is 10 power 3 and it's more, Kc value greater than or equal to 10 power 3, that means products are very, very higher than that of reactants, because products by reactants value is very higher. That means the reaction is close to completion of the completion condition. That is almost it is in product side. Because equilibrium constant is nothing but products by reactants. It is high means products are high and reactants are more. That is almost completeness of the reaction. Almost completeness of the reaction. Therefore, if it is greater than or equal to that one, that means so very large. So Kc value is very large. In that situation, so reaction proceeds to completion. Nearly to completion. Proceeds nearly to completion. Almost going to complete and reaction. So if Kc value greater than 10 power 3 at a particular temperature, if Kc value is greater than 10 power 3, products are much more higher than that of reactants. That means almost there is no reactants. That means almost products are there. That means almost going to completion. Next, if Kc value less than 10 power minus 3, so that means reaction just now started ending. So that means negligible. Reaction. That means almost at the beginning end. That means very, very low value means K value low means reactants are high. K value low means reactants are high, products are lower. That means large number of reactants are there. That means reaction is not converted into products. Reactants are not converted into products. That means reaction may be just now started. That means if Kc value less than 10 power minus 3, reaction just now started, very slow. Next, if Kc value greater than 10 power 3, almost going to completion. Almost going to completion. So if it is in between 10 power minus 3 and 10 power 3, it is in between. Both reactants and products. Here boys, products are high. Here boys, reactants are high. Here both reactants and products are considered. In between them, both reactants and products are considered. So this is the way we think the extent, how much extent of that reaction is going to be complete. So that means equilibrium constant for a particular reaction at different temperatures, equilibrium constant value changes. That equilibrium constant value may be greater than 10 power 3 or maybe less than 10 power minus 3. If it is greater than or equal to 10 power 3, that reaction going to be completion. If less than 10 power minus 3, it is just now started. In between these two, almost the reaction is in proceeding direction. So not too much high reactants, not too much low reactant, low production. There is a comparable reactants and products are there. So that means the reaction is going on, not completion, not initially started. So this is the way to find out the extent, how much extent of the reaction takes place. It is all due to K value. K is nothing but equilibrium constant. K is nothing but equilibrium constant. So this is the way to predict the direction of the reaction, completeness of the reaction. Okay, all are very, very, very important. So finally, I'm giving conclusion, my dear boys. Equilibrium constant depends only on temperature. Only on temperature for a particular reaction. It doesn't depending on initial concentration of reactants or production. So it doesn't depending on initially how much value is taken. It depends on only temperature. For endothermic reactions, as temperature increases, equilibrium constant increases. For exothermic reactions, as temperature increases, equilibrium constant decreases. It has to predict the direction of the reaction with the help of QC. It has to explain how much extent the reaction is going on. This is our condition. So these are the important applications of equilibrium constant. And almost theory is completed. So tomorrow I will start with problems. Okay.